Tuesday, Thirsty Tuesdays, or is it Taco Tuesdays, or is it Terrible Tuesdays? Whichever what, it's still Tuesday. Happy Tuesday afternoon to you, or morning, or evening, depending on where you're at in the world. Still fighting this little cold, but a couple things. Just want to give a shout out to a lot of our new subscribers. Want to shout out a couple good people who've subscribed lately. The homie Sean. Who else is it? My homie Steve. Appreciate you. I did get your message. I'm gonna get back to you. And a couple other people and any other great people that's out there. I told you, once we get to 300, we're going to do a nice little giveaway. So we are about 47 good friends away from that. But what we want to talk about today is, and I wanted to show a little bit of the video, is, and I know other people have talked about it, but as far as the kid, William McNeil Jr., an incident that happened back in February where he got into it with police officers down in Jacksonville, Florida. And, well, let me just show you. I know most people have probably already seen it, but just in case, we're going to play a little bit of it. And, you know, you can tell me in the comments what you think.
Charged criminally after video was released showing them breaking a man's car window and then punching him during an arrest.
Right, we want to warn you, the video is difficult to watch.
William McNeil Jr. was pulled over by Jacksonville Sheriff's deputies back in February for not having headlights on in the rain. He refused to give them his ID, and deputies say he locked himself in his car. He recorded the moments officers pulled him out of his car and used force while arresting him. An officer claimed McNeil was reaching for a knife. McNeil's lawyers deny that.
Deputies in Florida won't be charged criminally after.
So, I'm sure most of you have already seen it. You tell me, what do you think? What do I think as a person who's been pulled over multiple times driving, especially a black guy driving, and not saying that that's always any different, but we have to be honest with you about it, and that a lot of times there is a difference. But so I'll take it from this perspective, because I've seen a lot of people online, law enforcement, just different people saying that, you know, well, you know, why didn't he just stop? Why didn't he just do, you know, a big part of the thing is that it's a gift and a curse with a lot of the younger generation, because I believe he's 22, is that, and just with younger people in general, they're more analytical thinkers. So, you know, they know their rights. They know this, you can't do this, you can't do that, and all this other kind of stuff. But here's the deal. When you try to pull that, you got to make sure that you're right. So after looking into it deeper, see that he must have had a suspended license. He also had weed in the car. We have to do better. We have to do better with our younger people. He's an adult. He's over 21. So he's a full legal grown man. But we have to do better with the decision making. Even me as an adult, as a 51-year-old man. Hey, listen, I understand. Look, I know I cannot be driving around in a car with marijuana. All right. Now, you know, people have done, not saying I haven't done it even back in the day when I was in my 20s, but you can pay a steep price. There have been plenty of times when me or other friends have been pulled over, and sometimes we've gotten lucky because you could pay a steep price for, driving around with guns, driving around with weed, driving around with any of that kind of stuff. And then on top of the fact, because I've been in a situation too, where I've driven with a suspended license when I was in my 20s. One of the dumbest moves I could ever made. And here in Pennsylvania, or at least in Philly, because they treat us like we are the dregs of the state. Back then, if you got caught the first time, back in the 90s, if you got caught the first time driving with a suspended license, what they would do is that they would, so say for instance, if you were already serving a 60-day suspension, now that 60 days would go to something ridiculous like 180 days. Then if they catch you again, it goes to something ridiculous like a year. Now I think it's something where you could pay, and they don't you don't have to go through waiting that long period of time, but you have to pay some ridiculous amount of fee of like $600 or whatever to get your license restored faster, depending on what the suspension is. So let's see. Let's get back to him. So he's driving around. He's young. He's black. He's in Florida, or just like a lot of different places in this country. This is why I say, and I always reiterate on the channel about fathers and mothers and people being there to give sense to a lot of cases where when you're younger, your senses may not be as great as they need to be. Dude, you cannot drive around with a suspended license. You're a young boy, you black boy. Yeah, he didn't do anything crazy or wild, thankfully for him. And he was recording it, thankfully for him, because he's definitely going to get paid out of the situation. But this happens over and over and over and over again with white cops against black cops against, white cops against black people driving, black cops against black people, because like a lot of times in the city here, we have a lot of black cops, and the black cops pull over a lot of black people. I remember saying before, you go down to the Philly traffic court, guess what it looks like? It looks like Amistad. You go out to Delaware County court, even though, and the reason I say this is because there's all different types of nationalities living in the city. But guess who is getting the inordinate amount of traffic stops? The black people. Now, I get it. People are going to say, well, you guys shouldn't be riding around with no insurance. You guys shouldn't be riding around with crazy tags and all of this other kind of stuff, which is definitely true. But come on, let's face it. Some people get targeted more than others. Like I've said before, people don't want to play a race card, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Most times, who's thinking about, hey, you know what? It's a million cars driving by. They didn't break any traffic laws. Let's just pull them over to pull them over. So it doesn't work like that. And it shouldn't work like that. But it happens. Second thing, and that's why I wanted to show the video. Cops dead wrong. Cops were dead wrong. They should have never done that at all. I mean, for you to punch out a window, even if, now once the supervisor came and he didn't want to comply, you have at it. You got to do what you got to do. But there was no reason for them to do that at all. Zero. And I get it. Being a cop is a hard job and all that other kind of stuff. Being a cop is a hard job. But the thing is that there is no reason for a person to do that. There's no reason to do that. Break open somebody's window. The same kind of thing happened, once again, in Florida with Tyreek Hill. Where Tyreek Hill, he had gotten pulled over, and you can go back and YouTube that. And he was being, for lack of a better words, a jerk. And they wound up yanking him out of the car. And then it was all this, hey, twin, and all this other kind of stuff. Moral of the story for me is, you got a young kid out there that's driving, make sure that they're straight. Make sure that they got their situation. And like I said, he's 22, so he has to take some accountability for this. He probably, in my estimation, did not want to show them the ID because he knew the license was suspended and he would have some other troubles. Accountability. We have to learn, anybody, any race, any age, we got to learn some accountability. Sometimes the gig is up. If you get caught, if you are in a situation, then the gig is up. You're caught. You got weed in the car, you got a suspended license. They say he might have had a knife in the car. I don't know how true it is. Whatever the case is, the gig is up, dog, once you get caught and pull over. If they decide to take it to that level. There has to start being some accountability by both people. Should he have to get some money, something for that? I mean, I don't know, but he probably will. But I hope that in the future, him, other young kids, even other old kids, driving around, try to do the best you can to stay legal, to try to make sure that all your paperwork and everything at least appears legit. And you can't drive around with a suspended license. But once you do, and if you get caught, let me give you some game. Just say, hey, officer, I apologize, you got me. I'm sorry, I was driving with a suspended license. Regardless as to why they got pulled over. You know, my license, once you run my license, officer, it is suspended. I was on my way to work. I was on my way home. I apologize. Because they're still human too. Some of the stuff that you got to do, because just like with most of these cases, the thing is that we want to do what? We want to get back home. Now, what if he got slammed in the ground and broke his nose and all this other kind of stuff, or he would have got detained or whatever the case may be and got hurt further? You want to try to make it back home. So all y'all out there, tell your sons, tell your grandsons, even granddaughters, because they get a little smart too, and daughters, yo, I'm going to do what you got to do to make it home. We will worry about and sort out everything else later. But don't you get out here and try to be a hero, because guess what? You can't win against the cops. You're not going to win against them. So stop trying. But y'all tell me what you think in the comments. Was he right? Was he wrong? Were the cops wrong? Should the cops get fired? What do you think? But you know how we do. Until next time, live life and don't let life live you.